Hi guys, and welcome to my collarbone and chest tutorial. This tutorial, wow, can't even speak, was requested. Collarbone is something that I tend to struggle with the most, and kind of this whole general region, so I'm not saying that I'm perfect and this looks perfect. It's just someone's asked for it, so I thought I'd put it out there, and you can see in the preview how good I've done it, so if people still want to buy it, then they still want to buy it. I'm recovering from a cold, so I might sound a bit kind of phlegmy, so excuse me if I do that, or have a coughing fit mid-tutorial. So I always completely redraw the chest, but you might not feel comfortable doing that, so you can skip the bits where I redraw it because it's exactly the same that I do afterwards. So as I said, I'm not very good at this. I struggle really with anatomy, so don't comment like, oh my god, your anatomy is so off. Like, I know it's so off, but I'm trying to get better. So make a new layer by pressing this button here, and then just get like a bright colour that doesn't relate to anything on your screenie. Get the pen tool, which is this one here, and then these are the settings that I always keep for the pen tool. And this bit here, the only thing I ever change is the density, which literally just makes it a bit more see-through. As you can see, there's one line there and one line there. But other than that, and the size, I will keep the rest the same. So get around a 5 brush, and we're just going to redraw what we are going to have as our new anatomy. Again, not really great at this part. I just try to think. Women's shoulders kind of like not go dead straight, but it's pretty much like not much of a decline in my head anyway, as we've realised. Then the collarbone is pretty level with the shoulders. Like if you feel your own collarbone, you can feel that that kind of meets up with your shoulders. So we're gonna just draw that there. Then I put like, this doesn't have to be neat because you're going to delete it anyway, it's just a guidance for you. And then 2 lines, or 1 line, how big you want your boobs, for the boobs, and either side. And this you really want to join up with this part of the collarbone, so I better do 1 line to show you guys better. So want that going straight with the collarbone there. And then 1 for the other side. As you can see, I've just gone with what the screenie has here. And then for the arms, 2 little indents there. But we can change whatever we want. So now make a new layer under that layer. So I'm going to rename this one outline by double clicking it and just typing it in. Then a new layer under that layer. And we're going to use the eyedropper tool, which is this one here. And get a colour of the skin that we want to use. Get the pen tool again. Doesn't matter what size brush, and just all of that, fill it in, all in your green outlines. Like I say, you don't have to do this bit because you might struggle to redraw everything from scratch in terms of the clothes and stuff, but I've started doing this recently and I find it much easier. And don't worry, that it looks very blocky under the chin at the minute, but when you've done all the facial skin and we finish this bit, it will fit in a lot better. Then just get your eraser tool and erase anything that's outside of the green lines on the original screenie layer. When you take away the green lines, you'll notice that it's not smooth at all, so it doesn't really matter too much for the time being. We'll just smooth it all out when we get to that bit. So now you can see, like, my anatomy doesn't look too bad, but it kind of does look a bit bad, doesn't it? So this is where you go through and change anything you want to change. So I'm going to bring the collarbone layer down slightly because that isn't in line with the shoulders, it's in line with like halfway up the shoulders. So, oops, pen tool again, bright green, or whatever colour you want to use. And I'm gonna go. The bit of the collarbone is usually in line with the chin. Just keep, like, oh, that was going to sound bad. Keep feeling your own body. Like, you can feel where all your bones are, hopefully, to know where they line up to. So I'm feeling my collarbone lines up with my chin and the cleavage of my breast, and then my collarbone goes across into my shoulders, sort of the top of my shoulders. So I think I'm going to go with that. Then under the outline again, get a new layer on top of that one and select a colour that's just slightly darker than the base you've used. And get the brush tool. Again, I don't change my settings on the brush, and that includes the density this time. So all of this here and this little bit here stays exactly the same, apart from the size. So we're going to get an 8 brush and just do 2 kind of circular lines there for the breast. One outside here. Basically we're just doing a bit of shading wherever we've put these green lines apart from the outlines. Then I'm going to go under the chin and draw a kind of upside down triangle and 2 bits here. Then we're going to remove the green outline now. Don't delete it completely, just take it off visible with this eye here. And then, oh, as you can see, I've not filled all that in properly, so get that colour back again. And then anything where you've gone over, just quickly neaten up around the outside. So as you can see, I can spot a problem already that this side is higher than this side. And like stuff like this will happen. Hopefully, as time goes on, like I become better at it, you become better at it, but it's all about learning. I think that's the original screen there. No, there you are. Right, so now we're going to get the water tool, which is this one here. Again, the settings stay exactly the same. The only thing I ever change is the size, so if you want to pause and look at that now, then do that. And I'm going to get around the 12 brush, and we're going to go straight down to the boobs and just blend it out. And as you notice with the water tool, like it goes a long way. So what I tend to do is after I've done these lines there, get a bigger brush, maybe we'll go 35, and just do circles on the chest here. As you can see. And then get the water tool again, we'll go to a 9 brush this time, and then just do the same with the collarbone, like so, and all the details around that kind of region, and under the chin. And this is a step you'd start doing, by the way, if you aren't completely redrawing the bottom half. So now we're going to make a new layer. We're going to go to quite a light colour for the skin. So if you're doing a darker skin colour, obviously don't go as bright as I'm going. Then the brush tool again, let's go 9px, and we'll do 2 circles. We'll go for 7, sorry, we'll change the brush to 7. 2 circles either side of the indent, and just a line coming away from both of them. Then 2 circles on the breasts, which have moved over slightly by the looks of it. Yeah, but we can move those at the end, not to worry. One there, and then tiny little lines here around the shoulders. But when it starts to take shape more, we can sort that out. Then get your water tool again, a big brush for the breasts, and instead of going around in circles, we're now just going to go to side. And the same on the other one. And then just down the sides. They've really moved over. How did I manage that? Then a bit in the middle. A smaller brush for the collarbone. I'm going to go 9, I think. And circular movements for the circle, and then just push out for the other bit. And circular movements for the circle, and push out. And then maybe want them to meet up a little bit in the middle. Then we're going to do a V motion for this bit in the middle here, and a right angle motion for both of the bits on the neck, and then just a circular side to side motion for that bit. So you can see it's starting to take a bit more shape, and I'm starting to get a bit worried about my anatomy. But now we're going to move the boobs back over. You probably don't have to move the boobs over because you've probably done it right. But to do this I'm going to have to merge the last 2 layers I made, which you do by pressing this button here, merge down layer. I'm going to get the select tool and just select the boobs and move them over so the indent is in line with that collarbone. And then I'm just going to blur the bits that I've kind of messed up by moving that. How have I done this? Oh, it's because it's not straight when I drew it. Oh no. I'll pay. Okay, so as you can see, mess ups like this happen. So I'm going to just move my outline over slightly as well. I'm just going to move this bit first. Straight line. Then this bit on the side is going to be needed to move too. I'm going to just draw the edge of that kind of back round. And then, sorry about that, you probably didn't have to do that step because you got it right the first time. Make a new layer on top of all the layers except the outline layer. And now we're going to get the colour from the darker bit and go quite darker. Get a pen and just draw a straight line that's obviously going really well from me. Straight line from where you see the kind of V of the cleavage down to the bottom of either your picture like me or where your boobs are. Well, where your boobs meet together. I'll lower the opacity of that layer by doing this. So lower it to about 70. But if you want to go more, then a new layer again, a darker colour again, and from about halfway of that line, do the same again and go down, lower the opacity. Now under those 2 layers we've just made, make a new layer and get a kind of midway colour between those lines and the actual skin tone. Get your brush tool, around 12px, and draw a thicker line with little bits coming off at the top, and then another one around the outside, and get your water tool again. This time we're going to go for an 8 brush, and the same thing as again, really just blending that out with the water tool. Ooh. You can see the boobs are starting to take a bit more shape. They look a bit strange because technically nipples would be here, but I'm not going to draw the nipples because then it turns into something else, but clothes would go on top of this anyway, unless you are drawing nipples. If you want to draw nipples, you go for it. As you can see, they're taking a lot more shape. I'm just going to quickly draw something on top of it because it never looks right to me unless it's got some form of clothes on there, but you don't have to do this. I'm just going to draw it very quickly because I'm going to remove it after and actually carry on to make something out of this screen. And move it out of the boob. And then we'll get a darker colour on top of the other layers you've made. A pen tool, about 4px, and we're going to just go up with that and round for the arms kind of thing. And lower the opacity right down. And then just get the water tool, 8px, and just sort of blend that out a little bit because it's more of a guide for you than it is contributing to the image. And then go out and see what you think. That's all that this is about really, like does it look right to you? Because if it doesn't look right to you, then it's probably not going to look right to anyone else. And then you can get the select tool and move bits out if you think there should be a bit more boobage in there. Then merge down all of the layers we've made with this button here. So you've got one skin layer like that apart from the base skin. So, oops, I didn't mean to move that. So then you can get the water tool, and anything that doesn't look like it's blended very well, just blend a bit more. And this is with the boobs really, because I've not really done all, sorry that was my iPad, that I was going to do with the chest. Yeah. Then we're going to get a light new layer, a really light colour again, 9px with a brush, and we're going to do a kind of triangle that's not very straight in the middle of each boob. Get the water tool again, 9px, and just again side to side motions to blend that in. And you can repeat any of these steps, like if you think it needs a bit more shading in the middle, then repeat that. But if you don't, then you don't need to. And I'm going to put a bit of shading around the bottom as well. New layer, darker tool, brush, 9px, and just get a bit around the bottom. We'll then blend that in with the water tool. As you can see, it's just about trial and error. Just keep going. Brush tool, water tool. I'm going to make a new layer and repeat the middle step because I think that bit just doesn't look quite dark enough. And yours could look great by this point, but I'm just not satisfied with mine yet, so I'm going to add a dark colour and then water this in down here. Then if you've got a top with straps on, that'd come, top would probably sit more like there than it would where I've drawn it, to be fair. But it's up to you. Your straps. I'm doing this really quickly to close because I'm going to redraw them after anyway. But yeah, you can see that the top would come like much higher. I mean, it can dip in the middle if you want it to dip in the middle. To show off that cleavage. But you can see where I'm going with this, hopefully. There you go, and there's your boobs, and just add shading in terms of what clothes they've got and if shading would project onto it at all. And just make sure the clothing goes sort of outwards where the boobs will be unless you've done really small boobs. So then we're going to go under that clothes layer we just made, make a new layer, a darker colour than the skin, brush on about 6, and we're going to come out with the arms again. You can't really see that one on that side anymore. Just get the water tool, and you still want it to be quite prominent but blend it in a bit. Then make a new layer, pen tool again, the same colour, and then just a line in the middle of it and lower the opacity slightly. See what I've done there? And then if you go back on your other one you've made, if you think any of it's a bit too thick, you can go in with the eraser tool. It probably won't have much shading on the top of it because it'll be more shading on the bottom. But again, if you think it looks better a different way, don't listen to me, do it your way. And we're going back into the collarbone, new layer, same colour you've just used. Let's go for a 4 brush and make 2 little lines like that. And then we're just going to add more under the chin. It depends where your lighting source is coming from and what kind of shading you're adding here. But I'm just doing a general. And the water tool, let's go for 6, quite a small one. Just blend that out along the lines until you think you like how that looks. Then a bit of a bigger one, I'd say around 8 for under the chin. But always blend it in the direction you want it to go. Like, don't just do a rough thing around because it will go everywhere and look quite silly. I mean, you can still see that I've got a massive difference. Which side looks better though? I feel like I'm going to merge all the layers together that I've made, including the base layer now. So as you can see, when I make it invisible, we've got the old thing back there. And I'm going to sort out the mess I've made here by making, again, you've probably not even done this. I'm going to just draw a line so I know where it's coming to on each side. How have I drawn a line and it still doesn't match up? Because it's the screen there, not me. There we go, as you can see they match up a bit better now, but my clothes is now hanging in midair. I'd say with clothes, always have it coming back onto the screening, because obviously your clothes don't just sit on top, they go over your shoulders. And then just go through and neaten everything up, like anything you think looks a bit messy, add a bit more in the general chest region, but I don't tend to do too much here. Brush, I just always use a brush and water tool. Let's add some on the shoulders, at the top of the shoulders, water. You can add a bit more shading on the arm, a darker colour, brush, and then add some shading down here. But yeah, basically all I do, as you can see by now, is get the brush and the water tool and just keep going through. Bearing in mind if you've got hair, so let me just quickly say we've got bright purple hair that's coming down here like this, and it goes on top of the top. And your light sourcing was coming this way, you'd want shading to be under your hair slightly, and then just blend that in, because it would project a bit of shade onto it. And then just where it's gone a bit too outward, I'm just doing this really quickly because obviously I haven't got hair there, and then just lower the opacity, but you would have shading from the hair. I'm going to delete those two out. But anywhere, clothes might project shading if there's a necklace on, so I'm just going to quickly just draw a black line for a necklace that's apparently floating in midair. But then you'd want shading kind of under here, and anywhere it kind of would make shading. But yeah, it's kind of just something that you have to go with, see what you think, and as you can see, the boobs look really weird without the clothes now. But whatever you think you need to add more of, then add more of. But that's a general, like, basic how to do the collarbone and boobs and kind of neck region. You can check with your outline to see it all matches up. Mine sort of does, but it doesn't really matter if you like how it looks at the end. So thanks for purchasing my collarbone and chest tutorial. I hope it was useful, even though I kind of blabbered on a little bit. Made a few mistakes myself, but as I said, I'm still in training myself. Still in training, that sounded weird. Still learning myself, and some things might seem a bit strange to you, but you can just do it a different way and do it your own way that you want to do. But thanks for watching, and I hope it was useful, and please leave a review if it was useful, because I like seeing the reviews. Thanks.